I've been teaching opposing movements and counterbalance movements for a couple of weeks now in my classes. And I'm telling you, I never get impatient, and I always try to turn it into a learning situation, yes, but man, it seems like you need a university degree to learn these kind of things. And it's really simple. In this lesson today, I try to explain the whole thing, and I will show. Usually I never show, and even people in my class, they get sometimes impatient and they want me to show the movements because they cannot find it. And now I will guide you through the whole thing. The first thing I recommend, if you've never heard of counterbalancing as a kind of sense, I recommend this book from Michelle Turner. It's Newborn Movement Assessment. This is the most concise book I learned about baby movements. You could title the book How It All Began, How I Began My Movements. Because it's about babies, it's about you and me and everyone, and we all have to learn. And this is a very concise book, and it gives you a good insight into how babies learn and what they have to learn. On that note, if you haven't got my book, little advertisement, my Feldenkrais book yet, it's a very beautiful book. Please buy it for support and to learn how to read up on how to do Feldenkrais lessons. Okay. Now to the whole counterbalance thing, I will talk about it in the lesson. So you can play along or you can just watch the video. I will try to have it in a format where you can play along. And I try to be very patient. I try to be very sweet, okay? So if you want to play along, please, you need the carpet as always, you need a lot of space, and this time you need a lot of space. It's not enough to have a tiny little yoga mat and they're very restricted and stretching and stretching. We don't do stretching, just a big space, and please come to lie onto your back. Yes, the beloved floor. Nothing better than that, right? So now we can set up a learning situation. To learn about counterbalance movement of the head and the pelvis, of course. We're talking about these two structures in our body, in ourselves. And to set up a lesson, there's so many lessons we could do. And we'll do it very simple. For years, I have had people lying on the floor and do very nice movement on the floor. And it's just brilliant and gorgeous, and you have good feelings and you're relaxed. But as soon as we start to get up from the floor, to oppose gravity, that's where the trouble begins. That's where people lose their minds, their senses, their feeling for themselves. That's where the body posture of fear comes into play. Like Hans Selye, he invented the word stress, where people start to get stressed. That word was invented by a guy, by the way. So we're on the floor, everything is fine, everything is dandy, we're on the floor. Cannot fall because we're on the floor, no need to fear anything. So please bring your hand towards the ceiling, your right hand towards the ceiling. So you have to straighten your arm, right? And have a feeling for gravity. How is my recording doing? Am I talking too loud or is it okay? Yes. Have a feeling for gravity. Just have your arm, not like you would carry weight, you're not carrying weight, you just very gently, you have your hand towards the ceiling. And you have your elbow very gentle and relaxed. And it's not relaxed, but it's easy because there's nothing to do. It's just the arm towards the ceiling, the hand towards the ceiling. Can you see this in the video? I have two bones. You have two bones. I hope you have a right arm. If you have a fake right arm, a prosthesis, you still have something that resembles a bone. So there's two bones in your lower arm, so you can actually twist your hand around. And then you have one bone in your upper arm. And if you have your arm in a weird angle towards the floor, then it's not the easiest way to do it. Then you need a lot of power, actually. If you don't feel the power, that's the problem, that people do not feel the effort, what it takes to hold the arm in a crazy angle. They need a lot of effort, and not only in the shoulders, but in the whole side, in the whole body. There's tension in the body. So please find a way to have your arm towards the ceiling. So the arm is like you would as you would stand a candle. And we could talk entire hours about this, how to find a neutral position for the arm. So there shouldn't be any tension. If you rotate your arm too far, you will have tension to hold it like this. If you rotate your arm and have the palm of your hand facing in the direction of the head, there's too much tension. So please roll your arm a little bit to the inside and to the outside, and that's not the point of my video today. I hope you can already do this, and if you cannot, you should watch a couple of my videos first, a couple of other videos to get a feeling for gravity, to get a feeling of where your arm is standing, because your arm has to stand somewhere. It's standing on a certain spot on your shoulder blade. And it should be in a neutral position. And then, first movement, please start to move your hand towards the ceiling. So you're starting to move your hand towards the ceiling. Yes? So you have to lift your shoulder blade. There has to be a movement in your clavicular bones, in your, how is it called? Clavicular, right? And down again. And then do this a couple of times faster. Just let your arm drop, keep your arm straight and relaxed, and just let it drop onto your shoulder blade. So we can do this for hours to get this right. There has to be a rotation in the arm. There has to be. Because there's tendons and muscles, and they're not all the same length. They're not all attached at the same position. The origin and the insertion of the muscles, they're very different to each other. So there has to be a rotation. And the question is, in which direction has the arm to rotate, blah, 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 blah. So of course, it has to rotate inwards. So the palm of your hand comes to the outside, and when you go down, it's the other side. So imagine you reach something on the ceiling. Imagine there's something you want to have. Something on the ceiling, and you reach for it. And then reach more and more, and see where this is going. And this is the problem. We start to get away from the ground. We start to lounge. We start to lounge into space. And for this, we need balance and counterbalance. We need our bones and our tendons. We need to have some kind of sense for gravity to do this. How can I reach further up to the ceiling without lifting the head? You don't lift the head, you want to reach further up. Head stays on the floor, your feet stay on the floor, your pelvis stays on the floor. How can you reach further up? There's an entire question for you. And I don't have time now to go through all this, but yes, you can try a little bit. Continue. Please continue the movement. Try to reach higher up. Try to reach higher up to the ceiling. Yes, 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 yes. Higher up, higher up.
Right now I'm editing this video. So just my message to you, seriously. If you do not want to miss this learning experience, or other way around, if you want to have this learning experience, you should pause the video and just for a couple of minutes explore how you can reach further up with your right hand, with your right arm, with your whole self towards the ceiling without lifting the head off the floor. It's a kind of a riddle, a kind of a question. How can you do this? Pause the video just for a couple of minutes and then continue.
And you will find to reach higher up, you have to roll onto your left side. Because sideways, your body is higher than from front to back. So that's when people start to do funny movements. They start to try to push with their right foot to be able to roll. No, you should just simply roll onto your left side. I show you how it looks like. You reach up for the ceiling, yes, and this is the highest you can reach. When you're on your left side, this is the highest you can reach. When you have your head on the ground. It can't be more simple. And there has to be the rotation of the arm. Yes? Very simple movement. You can watch me doing it, and then you can copy it, and then it's not a learning situation anymore. Then it's just a copy, and I'm sorry for showing you the movement, but it would take ages to learn it. And maybe you can find some details in this movement for yourself. You can just continue to rotate your whole arm to reach up for the ceilings. Think you're a skeleton, and these are so basic movements, and this is why the Feldenkrais method is superior to all other body movement methods that are on the market or are popular right now. Maybe there are some secret methods I don't know about, but we are about learning, about how to learn how the body is functioning, how our nervous system is functioning, and what's inside of us, what it takes to move through space. And this is a very simple movement we can do, and you have to move with your head and you don't roll in. Okay, so very simple. Next thing. In my hip joints workshop, we're good. I'm happy, I'm gentle. I want you to know these things. I want you to be able to do those things and thus live a better life, thus have a much better experience in this world. When you know these things, your life will be a lot better. I want you to know these things. So in my hip joints workshop, there was this lesson. I hope you did my hip joints workshop. If you haven't done my hip joints workshop, it's on YouTube, it's for free, there's a playlist, it's 5 lessons, actually it's just 4 lessons. You need like 2 hours or 3 hours to go through it. Where you have, can you remember this lesson? Where you hold your ankle and then you have to turn onto the side and then you come back. So we can do this without holding the ankle. So this is just a rolling to the side and coming back, and we stay on the floor. It's very simple. This is a rolling to the side and a rolling on the front and then rolling on the back again, yes, with the foot standing. So I'm pushing myself to roll. That's a different movement as before, where I was rolling with reaching. It's 2 different movements, totally 2 completely different concepts. One is by pushing the floor with my foot. I put the foot down on the floor, yeah? Put the foot down on the floor on a good spot. I don't put it at the door here and try to roll. This doesn't make 0 sense. You have to put your foot on a spot where you're able to push yourself, as if it's a life and death situation. You have to put your foot on a good spot and then roll onto your belly, and then you go the same way back. How can you return? I leave that up to you. So that was another lesson we did. Another lesson, a 3rd lesson, was rolling, a rolling lesson from side to the back. Yeah? And it started with the hands, like it's on YouTube, on my channel. You can always do the full lesson. This is just a short review. I want you to know these things because they make your life better. And we started by moving the hand up. Can you remember if you did this lesson? And then the head has to follow. We have to have a sense when the head has to follow. And we don't need to learn this by heart. We don't have to learn what is the right moment to do it. We have to feel it. And if you feel it, you will just feel it when is the time. And your head actually will roll by itself until you can roll onto your belly. Sorry for undressing here. And you can take the same way back with the arm and come onto your side, or you can initiate the movement from a different location. Movement initiation, super important concept. You can start with your foot, yeah? You can bring your foot down again, so this time first it's the hand you think of. Think of the hand to roll onto your back. The next time it's your foot. Think of your foot to roll back on the side, and it's maybe your left knee that comes first, but then it's your right knee, and then you're on the side again, and you can come onto your back, and you can come onto your side, and you can come onto your front. Yes? Very simple rolling movement. Yeah? Very easy way to roll by working with gravity and opposing and counterbalance. Super easy concept, and your rolling should be as smooth or even smoother than my rolling. This should be something it's easy for you to do. Easy, 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 easy. You can do it day and night. There shouldn't be anything that's restricting your movement. It shouldn't move your, if you cannot move your head, you cannot fall when you're on the floor. And this is why you have to do Feldenkrais, to convince yourself that when you're on the floor, you cannot fall anymore. Now the difficulty starts when you try to get up. This is where it's all, I already said that in this video. So this lesson starts on all fours. So please come on all fours. So you have to feel it's 4 points, you're on all fours. And now bring your weight onto your right hand and back on both hands. So when you're in the middle, your weight is equally distributed on both hands. And then you bring it more to the right and more to the center. Okay, more to the right and more to the center. You will feel you'll always shift your weight to the right knee and to your right hand and back to the center. Okay. Now move your left hand a bit up on the floor. Just move the hand on the floor a little bit upwards and downwards. Just to have a feeling that you can take off weight from your hand. Yeah? So when you do this, you can feel that your left side is becoming longer. And of course, there's more pressure on your right hand. If this is painful on your hand, you can still be on your wrists. If you can't be on your wrists, you can't do this lesson. All right, so you're on all fours. Moving the left hand is okay. Now think of your, let's do it on the right side. Think of your right hand, so you move your right hand forwards and backwards. So you have to have your weight onto your left hand. Shift the right hand forwards and backwards. So you can feel your ribs on your right side open and close. Open and close. When you reach, it's a side bending. We had this side bending lesson, right? With the foot. You have to do the videos in my channel, really. You have this side bending lesson. So when you move up your hand, you're going to a side bending position, right? So now, you move your right foot downwards, away from you, away from your buttocks. The right foot downwards. So of course, your right knee will also move downwards. You can think of either your foot or you can think of your knee. It's almost the same. There's a difference, but it's almost the same. Yeah, do this a couple of times until you can feel this kind of side bending position. Yes? So then we can take a break. It's maybe strenuous. Let's have a break on the back. And then come back on to all fours. And this is where the fun begins. This is the same thing as we did in lying just 5 minutes ago, but now we're on all fours. So bring your foot to stand on the other side. We did this in lying. In lying, we brought the foot to stand on the other side. Yeah, in the hip joint lesson, we brought the foot to stand on the other side. I'm on my back now. I'm on my front now. I'm on my back now. I'm on my front now. In the hip joint lesson, we did it with holding the ankle. Yeah? We went over like this, and then we went back like that. It's the foot you're thinking of. So you bring the foot on to the other side. It's very simple. You think of the foot. You think of the foot goes around until it is standing on the other side, and then on the other side you can come to sit. Huh? And then you bring Your pelvis up, of course, and go the same way back until you're back on all fours. You're thinking of the foot. You can think of your knee. You can think of lifting your knee, but you cannot place the knee to stand. You think of your foot. You bring your foot to stand behind you. This will make you turn and bring you in a sitting position. And you have a counterbalance movement with your head. So you cannot be in a body posture of fear and restrict your front side and try to bring, and you try not to fall, and I'm falling. You have to let go of your head. If you're tense, you will fall. Yeah? You have to pose the movement with your head. Your head has to be free. There's so many lessons about the head under the bridge of the arm. Your head have cat-camel pose. I did a whole video about this.
So let me just quickly show you a clip by Michelle Turner. She's the author of this baby book, Newborn Movement Assessment. She explains this opposing counterbalancing movement like nobody else. It's a joy to watch her. Just a half a minute clip.
So eventually, again, when they go to roll over, it's not like this same, they'll get stuck. They counter all the way through their system to come over or counter to come all the way back. So now a child with CP now, they'll do same, right? So they start to fall and they'll do this and this. And this is where you get that ATNR. So they're doing this so they can't go into fall mode.
Okay.
All right, but they never learn, and they'll start going out like this. I can't fall when I'm in this mode. However, they can't roll over either. And if that conversation continues, that's where you'll see all those spasticity happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so when you turn over, you have to bring your head back. You cannot be stuck in this position trying not to fall. You have to bring your head backwards to oppose the movement you're doing, whatever, if you're turning or twisting. So on to the next point.
Okay. And it's the foot. You're thinking of the foot. You're not thinking about your taxes or what you're going to eat today, and you're not going to think about going for a walk, or you're not going to think about your arm or your belly button or whatever. You think about your foot. So if you bring your foot to standing here in front of you, the foot is standing, and you can bring it to stand here, and you can bring it to stand here, and when you put the weight on your foot, you can stand up, and you can go wherever you want, and then you can come back onto your knee and onto all fours, and then you're on all fours, and it's the foot you're thinking of that you place. You can place the foot, you can place your foot on any old location you want, and when you put down your foot, you can bring weight onto your foot, and you can come to standing, and then you're standing on your legs. Yeah? You're not standing on your pelvis, because in between the pelvis and the floor, there's the legs, obviously. You cannot stand on your pelvis in this way. You can stand onto your hip joints, yes. So when you come down on the floor, you're on all fours, and there's the foot, you can stand, and the thing is, when you stand your foot behind, just because you cannot see the foot anymore, doesn't mean the foot has disappeared. The foot is still there, even though you cannot see. Here you can see the foot and you can stand on it, and it's very obvious. Yeah? But if the foot is behind you, it's still there, you can feel it. And you can bring it on the floor behind you, and you can stand on it, and you can support yourself on the foot behind you. Continue with this movement. It's super easy. You come from all fours, you bring the foot behind you somewhere, and then you can sit down. Yeah, you can sit on your pelvis, and then you can come back onto all fours. And it's such a simple, smooth movement. let's come back onto all fours, and let's start with the hand. Move the hand. Move the hand. Bring the hand up to the ceiling. You can bring it up in many ways to the ceiling, yeah? And let it be your hand that is directing the movement. Let your hand direct the movement, and then the rest of the body follow at some point. It's like rolling on the floor, where at some point the rest of the body has to follow. It's not just the hand that is moving, it's the whole body. It's your head, and it's counterbalancing movement of the head and the pelvis. You have to move the pelvis at some point if you think about your hand. So your hand is coming towards the ceiling, and place the hands on the other side. Place the hand, this doesn't work. You have to unscrew your arm. We cannot do this. So you have to move your foot at some point. You have to move your pelvis at some point until you're sitting on your side. And then come back with your hand first. It's the hand. Maybe look at your fingers, look at your hand as it traverses through the sky, through the room, woo, like a plane, woo, or maybe like a ship. You can think of holding like a little car. You're driving a car around the room until you're on all fours again. You get the idea. So you have this little red car, yes, it goes up. But at some point it can't go further up, so you have to really move your pelvis. You have to lift your knee, you have to stand your foot, and then you can come to sit on all fours. And then you have to go back, and your head is not in this body posture of fear, very cramped, but your head is free because you want to see the car, the little red car going through the sky. And then down again, and then you come up onto all fours, yeah? So you can lead this movement with your hand, very simple. Or you can lead this movement with your leg, with your foot. You bring the foot backwards and forwards. This is not difficult when I show it to you. Find it. You have to practice. You can't just look at me. You have to practice it. Then try the other side. Try to do it on your left side. Bring down the left foot over, the left foot disappears, you don't know, you cannot see it, but you can feel your left foot, you can feel how your left foot is placed on the floor behind you. And of course, your left hand has to leave the floor at some point, right? You cannot glue your hands onto the floor and expect to turn over. When you sit on your left side, you go back and you lead with your foot. Left foot pushes against the floor until you're on all fours again. Just do this a couple of times. You're sitting, and then you go over to the other side, and it's very simple. I think it's a progression from the floor, where we did the same movement, rolling on the floor, but now we're not rolling on the floor, but we're on all fours. The upper body and the pelvis and the head are not lying on the floor again. It's supported by all fours, and it's the same movement.
Oh, it's already getting dark. Making these videos takes forever. Just a small message. I want to put in a little video from Noguchi-san. He's a Japanese Feldenkrais practitioner. He's very active on YouTube. He uploads a lot of videos. He has a Japanese website with a lot of link collection, but I really don't know anything about him. I don't know where he studied, with whom he studied, why he's doing Feldenkrais, if he sees clients. I really have no idea, but he does a lot of videos, and I want to use one of these videos to just quickly put it into my video because it's a great example.
You will see the difficulties in his video. You will see what all students go through. All or most of the students. Of course, there's exceptions. There's people who have very good sense for gravity, a very good connection with the environment and the world and with their body and their sensing of the world, and they will get it right away. But most people will go through the same learning as Noguchi-san is going in his video. It's a very good example. You start with something you don't know at all, and you get to know it step by step, and the lesson will lead you through the learning process step by step, and in the end, without pushing yourself, without controlling yourself, or without willpower, you will arrive at the functional, natural movement as nature intended it, at this kind of natural flowing movement. There was no stretching and there was no powerlifting, and you just learned what you should have been able to do in the beginning. But at the beginning, there's nothing. Yeah? At the beginning, you can't even roll your head. At the beginning, you can do nothing. You have to learn everything. And if you haven't, you can use the Feldenkrais method to do so. Now, if you have taken a short break, that's good, and now do both sides. You're on. So people sometimes need years to learn this. So if it's not smooth for you yet, just do it a little bit more often. Try the separate parts which led up to this. Maybe really, I have the videos for free here on YouTube. You can just go through them and learn and progress. And then your movements will become smooth and your movement repertoire will become bigger again. Usually as people age, the movement repertoire becomes smaller and they start to be unable to look over their shoulder, and they will have difficulty with balance, and they will have difficulties with getting up out of bed, or they will have difficulty to sit down on a toilet and come up again. It's terrible. Don't lose your movements. Always learn and keep exploring. And this method is great for doing so. So, you can do it to one side, and you can come over to the other side. And then in the end, you don't have to move your car, your little car, or your little whatever it is, your little airplane through the air, but it can become a very smooth and very simple movement. It's just you're on all fours, and then you're sitting. You're on all fours, and you're sitting. You're on all fours, and from there we can have many other lessons which will go in different directions. So this lesson, it started out with just reaching up. Let's try this together. Come onto your back, lie on your back. Yes, and then roll your head a little bit to the left and right to make sure your head is lying relaxed, supported by the floor. And then bring your head, bring your hand towards the ceiling and feel how the hand is standing onto your shoulder blade. Should be a totally different feeling now. That's what is the progress. You can feel your bones, how everything is supported. So it's different, right, as opposed from the beginning. And then start to reach up. Reach up. My shoulder area is completely different now. My shoulder area is super, super soft, super ready to move, very well organized. I can feel exactly what comes when. Reach up and don't resist. Reach up longer until you arrive at your left side, and then come back onto your back. Reach up until you're on your left side. Yeah? So easy. And if you would lift your head, there would have to be a certain quality and a certain direction of lifting your head. And in this way, you could come up to side sitting, and it's like as if someone would pull you up. That's a different lesson. If it's not that easy for you right now, there's a different lesson. But you can see we can have progress. And it's not that difficult at all. So now I feel a little bit relieved. Yes, I feel relaxed. This was good therapy for me, this lesson. I thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like this video. This will help us to get this video more popular. The more likes, the more it will show up in YouTube searches. If you have a comment, please comment. If you have some thoughts to share, please comment in the comment section. I will read all the comments. I will answer to as many as I can. And see you in the next video.